Hey guys, and welcome back to DarkLogic Studios' Attack on Titan theories and discussions. Before we go any further, I want to give you fair warning that these videos are going to contain lots and lots of spoilers. So if you're not caught up with the manga, then what are you doing with your life? Seriously though, if you don't want spoilers, you should probably click on something else. If you're all caught up though, then let's get to it. Alright guys, so the moment has arrived. The Chapter 94 Raws are out today, and I haven't done spoilers in a while, but screw it, I'm gonna do it this time, because I want to see what's gonna happen! Okay, so this chapter, it's only partially translated, just a few pages at the beginning, but I'm just gonna go through it and take a look at the panels and see what I can discern just from the images. Looks like there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in this chapter. It's very dialogue heavy. And we're not gonna know exactly what's going on until it's fully translated. But it's here! So let's take a look at this shit. So this chapter, chapter 94, is called Young Ones Within the Walls. Or I suppose it could be translated to Children Within the Walls, the Children Within the Walls. It's all about the kiddos, this chapter. And it's interesting too because the last episode of the anime was called Children. Synchronization confirmed? I think so. So we begin this chapter at this train station. They're getting off the train that they've been on. Gabby jumps out of the car doing like some freaking Mortal Kombat move or something. It's like, woohoo! We're home! We made it! Our dear hometown! Riberio! And you know what I find interesting about the name of this ghetto? This ghetto has been mentioned before. This is the same hometown that Grisha is from, of course. And I've read the name of this ghetto be translated in several different ways. In the official translation on Crunchyroll in chapter 86, when Grisha first encounters Kruger when he's a kid, Kruger refers to the district as Liberio, which I thought was interesting at first because it kind of sounds a little bit like the first part of the word liberation. But in this unofficial translation and in another translation I'd read where they had mentioned the ghetto before, it was a little different. In this one it says Riberio, but in another one it actually referred to the ghetto as Rebellio. So that's interesting too. Sounds like rebellion. And I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but either way it's kind of interesting. But anyway, everybody gets off the trains, Colt's all hungover, Gabby's yelling and he's like, oh god, stop screaming, Gabby. And Galliard's like, man, he drank too much. And Falco's like, who gave my brother that alcohol? And Pike's like, well, he wanted it. And Zeke's like, well, thanks to you trying to be so nice, he was throwing up everywhere, so thanks for that, Pike. And Maggie's like, I should have shut him up last night. So Gabby's still yelling, Reiner's like, hey, knock that off. And Falco starts this inner monologue, and he's thinking about Reiner. So he says, 4 years ago, he was in danger and was almost stripped of his armor power because of taking responsibility for the failure of Operation Paradis. Putting his life on the line, he won many battles to prove his loyalty to the Marley, and no one talked about taking his power away because of that. He displayed Marley a loyalty unlike any other warrior. That's the warrior and deputy Reiner Braun. Falco's kind of looking at him, and Reiner looks over at him too, and turns away really quick. And he's thinking to himself, but what did deputy mean last night? I've got to protect Gabby? If others heard that conversation, it would have landed me in trouble. So he's kind of walking off. Maybe. Reiner wants the same thing as me, to free the people of Eldia from war. So, and that's where the English translation stops, but it's a pretty interesting little tidbit right there because in my last video, if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out because I was speculating whether Falco could actually be the 9th Titan. And I think that this line here, it definitely reveals a lot about Falco's character and his inner desires and motivations. Falco wants to free the people of Eldia from war and from the ghettos, and if his belief is similar to Gabby's, then he probably believes that the only way to do that is to get rid of the Eldians on Paradis Island. And that's kind of why I thought maybe Eren and Falco were going to fight at some point. But then again, Eren is an adult now and Falco's still just a kid, so that would be kind of messed up. Not that this manga isn't already messed up, and quite frankly, I don't think Isayama would be afraid to go there. But what would be pretty cool is to see Eren and Falco become allies and join forces, like the Eldians in the ghettos and the Eldians in the walls kind of come together to rise up against the Marley. Like, on one hand, I think that would be pretty cool, but on the other hand, it's kind of scary because the Eldians are these titans, and the outside world does kind of have a legitimate reason to be afraid of them. I mean, even though it's really messed up, and really all these characters involved in this haven't really done anything wrong. Like, most of them have been kids since the story began, and this whole theme of like innocence lost and the blurred lines between good and evil, Isayama really makes a considerable effort to reject the whole notion in storytelling that there's a good guy and a bad guy, and say, no, this is how it is in real life. Like, it's not that clear cut, it's not that freaking simple. Like, there are people on both sides who've done really messed up shit, and there are people on both sides who are completely innocent, and everybody's suffering. So, and a lot of people don't have much more of a choice than to do the things that they have to do. So, you know, it's a lot easier for us to look at a situation and say, okay, well, they're the good guy and they're the bad guy, so I'll just side with the good guys. That's an easy decision. But the reality is the good guy is often just the people who you are familiar with and who you're around and who you know and understand. And the enemy is the people who are against you, who disagree with you, who you don't know, who you don't understand, and who may even want to harm you for whatever reason, possibly for the exact same reasons that you are afraid of them. So, and that's one thing that I really love about this manga. Not many writers are willing to tackle that kind of subject matter, but Isayama, he just no holds barred. Alright guys, so the rest of the chapter is in the process of being translated right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up here. This video is already 8 minutes long, so come back to see my full review of chapter 94 after the full chapter is out, and we shall discuss further. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Peace.